goes by so fast. You only wanna do what you think is right. Close your eyes and it's past. Story of my life. Story of my life.
Hello, my name is Dan Smith, aka Mr. Smith the art teacher, aka C. Dan Payne. I'm interested in autobiography and how my life as an artist has influenced my life as an art educator. On the screen you will see a roughly linear progression of my artwork from about the past 15 years. I would like to apply Heiner's method of Currere to take an autobiographical look at my life as an art educator and as an artist. Heiner's first step is the regressive stage, where we re-experience the past. I'm re-experiencing the past as I look at the images that I've created over the past few years, and not only do I have memories of creating the actual image, I have memories of where those images have gone. So there's linear and a multidimensional involvement for me with my own artwork. I did not follow a traditional path to becoming an art educator. I was accepted to the University of Georgia as an undecided agriculture major, and through a series of events I was able to take a drawing class. It was the first drawing class I ever had. So as a freshman, my first experience with actual art education was in the college classroom. Because of this, I always felt as a bit of an outsider. Later on, after I finished a degree in painting, and I stayed around to get certified to teach K through 12 art, I again felt like an outsider because I was a painter now entering another field, just as I had started the field of art, not directly part of the system yet. So I finished my degree in painting, became certified to teach. My first job was teaching high school, and I had student taught elementary. So again, I was in another situation where I was an outsider, and I had to learn and find my way through how to teach high school art. That was a journey. I learned much from my experience teaching high school art, and I came back to the university and started a master's in art education. Did that for a year, and then I started teaching elementary school again. So I was teaching and going to school at the same time. I felt very disconnected from the university world. I felt like I was going back to the ivory tower as a teacher, where some of what I was running into just was not the reality that I was dealing with every day as a teacher. But as I look back on the past, there's one thing I never stopped doing. I never stopped making art. So at the same time, when I was teaching, when I was in school, I continued to make art. I'm curious as to why, and why other art teachers are both practitioners of art and art teachers. That's a curious question for me. It's something I'm interested in researching. Fine art's next step of Currere is the progressive stage, where, not being in the present, we look for what could be possible futures. When I think of my teaching, I think of the things that I haven't done that I'd like to do. When I think of the future of my art, it's hard to disconnect it from the past, because I've seen a linear progression through my artwork. Especially as I watch it go by on the screen, I can see the things that I've taken from one place and reused, recharacterized in different aspects of my painting. I do the same thing when I teach. Everything has a basis, everything's built on some sort of foundation. So many possible futures. This is where I look toward my crystal ball and hope to imagine different places that my everyday teaching, my lesson planning, the things that I expect from my students could be. I think it's almost an ideal. You kind of shoot for an idealized future, almost a utopian vision of what I want my teaching to be. In the analytical stage, we examine both the past and the present. It's akin to what we refer to in phenomenological research as bracketing, where you state your bias, where you state who you are and where you came from. It's very, very autobiographical. So there's this third space between the past, present, and the future, where it's almost like an out-of-the-body experience, where you can step back and see something unfettered or untethered to your own personal experience. That's something that an artist does quite a bit when we set our paintings up as we're working on them and walk very far away from the other side of the room and look at it from a different perspective. Part of the act of creation.
Sometimes I don't wanna go out. The music's too dull and it's way too loud. Sometimes
This phase, when I'm teaching, is a very important part of how I determine what my students should experience. Analyzing their skills that they have now and trying to step back and see also what I have done to influence what they're working on. Just like when I'm painting, I step really far away. I do the same thing when I teach. I remove myself, I step back and try to look at it from an outside scenario, from an outside view.
not really sure what the story's about. Some folks
The fourth step is the synthetic, where you return to the present and you compare your experience and experiences to the larger community.
can't wait till the sun goes down. I'll need some
With my painting, this is when I'm finished with the painting and I'm considering where the painting will go, who will see the painting, what context will it be displayed in, how will it be accepted, how does it connect to the larger body of work that I've done. I think of those issues.
On the beach, always on the screen.
As for my teaching, think about connections. Where can I connect to students' prior knowledge? Where can I connect what they've done, what they need to learn? How do all those things kind of evolve together and synthesize new understanding?
Supposed to be, have to find out eventually.
So Currere means to run. My BFA senior exit show I titled Long Distance Running, because the life of an artist is a race, and it's a long distance race. So is that of an educator. It's very active, not passive. So as I consider my experience as an artist, teacher, for many years and many times I tried to separate the two. I tried to keep my artist life in one closet, tried to keep it away from my art educator life for various reasons. Some I'm sure of, some of them I'm not so sure of. One thing's for sure is that I always played the two off of each other in different scenarios. For example, when I'd interview for a art position, I might say something like, you know, if you hired me to be your art teacher, you would be hiring an actual artist. Can you hire an actual biologist or nuclear scientist to teach your science classes? And then I'd be in situations where I was wearing my artist hat, and I would, you know, make sure to let people know that I was a teacher. I don't know, almost to get their sympathy a little bit. So, what does it all mean? I still search to find why I continue to follow these two parallel paths, that of an artist and that of an art teacher. I'm also interested in finding others' experiences who have done the same before me, who are doing it now, and maybe for some students who are considering to do both of those in the future. That's of very much interest to me. So in conclusion, as I contemplate the search for the understanding of the connection between the artist and the teacher and the artist, I will continue to run the race down these parallel paths. I will continue to Currere and find a way to connect both my art and my teaching, as they are so intertwined. See Dan paint, see Dan teach. See Dan paint and teach.